Bull shit. Absolutely ridiculous. The Little Mermaid isn't even out yet, and they've already allowed the score to be a 95. Now, if this were in the reverse and the audience score was showing something other than what they wanted it to be, they would absolutely nuke this score from orbit. They have done it before. They did it for Captain Marvel. This is a lie. And what this is designed to do, understand, is to make people look at that and go, oh, it's not as bad as people said. Oh, now I want to go. Now it's got a good review score. So they are literally trying to steal money from you by tricking you into seeing this movie. That is egregious, even for Disney, and it's not going to work because here's the problem. You can put it at a 95, you could put it at a 1095. Doesn't matter. People already know that this is going to be shit, not to mention the fact that people aren't going to support this because of your shit with China, how you took the cover for The Little Mermaid and you said, you know what? We know that they don't like black people all that much in China. So we're going to take the poster and we're going to make her blue. You think I'm joking? You think I'm kidding with you? You think no, Disney wouldn't do that. Disney wouldn't do that. Disney is progressive and they believe in all these values and they're not going. They wouldn't. They absolutely wouldn't. Well, I got some bad news for you, Wokies. This is the Chinese poster, and this is the American poster. Do you notice the difference? Maybe we can zoom in on that a little bit. I wonder what the difference would be. I wonder what it is. I don't know. Looking at these side by side is such an unbelievably damning indictment of Disney as a company because they're so full of shit. They are not woke. They're just greedy, and they're willing to sell out whatever they think is the losing cause. They'll be like, we don't really care about traditional values or America or our old IPs. Whatever gets us a dollar, whatever gets us a new ESG score. This is pathetic, and it really reveals the current state of Disney. They don't have any new ideas. They're not innovating. They're not forward thinking. And I've said this before, but do you know how I would deal with this situation? By thinking outside the box. If they came to me and they said, okay, look, we have to have a black mermaid. It's non-negotiable. We have to have a black mermaid. And I'd say, well, does it have to be Ariel? They'd say, well, yes. And I'd say, well, no, it doesn't. And here's why. You're going to create a whole new series. An extended Little Mermaid universe. It's going to be called Under the Sea, A Little Mermaid Story. And you know what it's going to be about? It's not going to be about Ariel. It's going to be about other characters that we haven't met yet. Because you're not going to retract and regress. You're going to expand. So, King Triton, who is not going to look like this, he's going to look like King Triton from the cartoon. He is going to summon Sebastian and Flounder and say that he has an important mission for them to go meet with his brother and deliver a message. Now, his brother is going to be a king of the sea from a different part of the world. So, you're going to be able to change the visuals. You're going to be able to create a new atmosphere for the castle, for the people, for everything. You're going to be able to do your own thing using the foundation that was built before. So you get people in with the Little Mermaid, and then you start building. You start expanding and growing. Do you know who I would have play this new king, King Triton's brother? I'd have Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Now, I don't know if he'd be down to do it. I imagine if you gave him enough money, he would be. But here's the thing: Dwayne The Rock Johnson is an instant draw, and having him be an under the sea character where potentially you could have Disney, lose their mind, quote unquote, and do a crossover between The Rock is King Triton's brother. You'd have to call him something badass. Um, and then you could have him do a crossover with Aquaman. You could Dwayne the Rock Johnson and Jason Momoa and a Little Mermaid and and DC Aquaman crossover. You could fucking do it because when you bring in the Rock, it opens up a whole bunch of doors. So then I would have his daughter be this Holly Bailey. You wouldn't even have to give her red hair. She'd be her own character with her own name. And she could have her own adventure, her own style, her own look. Do you understand what I'm doing here? I'm building culture, not trying to cheaply, artificially, pathetically replace it or do a virtue signal because that's all this is. And this is all this type of stuff ever is. You can get the brain dead clapping seals on the left that don't think about anything to celebrate this. Usually they're people in the media and they will clap like seals and they will be very, very happy. Like, oh my God, the bigots are going to be so angry. But these are not forward thinkers. These are not thinkers at all. These are the most reductive, regressive, simple minded, attention seeking, narcissistic bottom feeders. They're not looking to grow. They're just looking not to get swallowed by the whale that is Disney. But for me, I'm fucking Ahab. I've got my harpoon, and one way or another, if Disney gets my channel destroyed, I'll go stream on Rumble. I'll upload videos to Twitter. I don't give a shit. I'm not looking for insider access because who the hell would want to work for Disney? Who would want to be part of Disney, part of their world? Because they're run by fucking morons. They're run by idiots. Anyone could do a better job than this. Anyone. And you think that you're going to fool anyone with this fucking score? This 95%? You think anyone's really falling for that? I mean, you would have to be brain dead. The movie isn't even out yet. But you expect people to fall for it. I mean, release date today. So it is out. This was from yesterday. The score. It was a 95 yesterday. That's what I'm thinking about. So, 95. Movie's out today. Movie's out today and it already has a 95%. Yeah, that's bullshit. I call bullshit. Oh boy. 10 out of 10. Definitely would recommend. Kim. Verified. Alright. What happens when you do all audience score? Oh, interesting. Is there a score here? After watching the movie, I had to have a long dialogue with my kid about how her favorite Disney character changed from how she remembered from the animated show. I based my vote on my daughter's behalf because it was made for children and she didn't like it. Perfectly valid. Love the representation. Needed so much in society. 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10. Get fucked, you fucking weirdos. Very bad movie. Disney innovation is on the floor. That's goddamn true. Bad acting, I can only imagine. Bad history. Bad adaptation, really ugly. All that seems to be completely true. 5 out of 5. I don't speak Spanish. It was an amazing remake of the classic. It's colorful and sweet. Well, we know that's a lie. It's about as dull as anything I've ever seen. It's a classic boy plus girl. Yeah, okay. Amazing. 3D really brought to life for me. Oh, okay. Well, okay. Worst movie ever. Disney tears apart this classic. Not afraid to lean on the original, but has some fresh and clear takes on the movies and characters. Some of these, some of these are fine. It's just cope or delusion or fake bullshit. Um, the whole movie seemed flat to me, especially Ariel's songs. It was disappointing that they took out Sebastian's songs, as that was a favorite of mine from the original. Ursula was great in this one. Yeah, Melissa McCarthy. Loved it. I'd say the only negative was Eric's song, Snooze Fest. Oh my god. But the rest of the movie was great and everything was so colorful. It's bullshit. It's not colorful. I can tell it's not colorful because I've watched the trailer on camera in front of all of you guys. There was literally only one small thing I didn't like. And that was after Ariel saved him from dying. He sang a song. They could have left that part out. True, men don't need to be singing. At least, not manly men. What did I just watch? Really, it was super long and boring. The changes made the story feel super weird. It was like it was fan fiction, yeah. You get that a lot. These self inserts. Another 100 times. I didn't even watch it. Well, that's far more honest than a lot of these other reviews. And I mean, so it came out today. And 95%. I think that is. I think that's bullshit. I know that it was a 95 yesterday before the movie came out. I know that I saw some people talking about that. But it seems like May 27th. Today's the 20th. I guess it's maybe a different part of the world. Maybe that's the problem. This is May 27th. It's not the 27th yet. What is this? I don't know. Yeah, I get. Well, it's the 26th. I'm not losing my goddamn mind. Why does it say May 27th? Are these all fake and they put in the wrong date? What the fuck am I looking at? Is it just... No, they do have the 26th. I mean, but if it's... is this from China or something? It's like 8 hours ahead? What are we talking about here? What are we doing? Where are we going? I mean, the sales numbers for this in the Chinese market were absolutely atrocious. Maybe we should take a look at that real quick. Chinese. All right, well, The Little Mermaid to be part of that world with 180 million global start this weekend. Box office preview. All right, let's take a look. It's eyeing 180 million. The majority of that number will be made stateside, with 120 million for the 4-day Memorial Day weekend. So this is a prediction? Box office preview. Okay, so this isn't. This is just a guesstimate. Because it's saying they're guessing it's going to be 120 million. Okay, all right. Well, no, they're saying it's going to be 180 million. This is just a guess. This is just a guess. I think that is. I think. I don't know. That seems like a push. If it does hit 180 million, that's some election interference if I've ever seen it, because The Chinese market, like one of the biggest markets, yeah, those pre-sales were atrocious. They were absolutely abysmal. So yeah, that would be rather bizarre. Um, and Disney is not above buying its own tickets. We saw that whole thing with Captain Marvel. That was a that was a debacle. Hey, why are all these theaters empty? I don't know, but it topped $1 billion. Yeah, it's just I don't think they're going to do that again. I think they put everything they had into trying to make that a success. In this case, it seems that the critic score is more accurate, but in all of these cases, I mean, this does. I mean, I could be wrong. This doesn't look like. I mean, it looks pretty bad. That's 1.5 out of 4, 3 out of 5. Let's see. I mean, yeah. I mean, some of these are not good. Oof. Anyway, yeah, I made my point. This is atrocious. I mean, it's really embarrassing. The fact that this, the fact that they would try to trick you with this. Hey, it's Memorial Day weekend, so we'll put a 95 up there. After Memorial Day, when nobody goes to see this, see, my prediction is the exact opposite. I don't think this is going to do 180 million worldwide. That was a complete and total guesstimate, uh, based on pure delusion and cope. Let's see. Let's see if let's see if they have anything for today. Go to Box Office Mojo. Put in The Little Mermaid. Well, um, now I understand it. It's not, we're not looking at the whole world here. We're just looking at South Korea. Let's see. Um, so far only Korea is reporting in. I mean, I know the sales for China weren't that great. So we don't have the full numbers yet. But I will if they get 180 million opening weekend, I'll eat my sock. I mean, my God, that is delusion. I can't imagine 180 million opening weekend for this thing. This fucking abomination. This soulless, thoughtless cash grab. No, I don't see it happening. The Little Mermaid, is a kids movie, but they want to turn it into propaganda for people that will not watch it. And it's like the classic. I mean, let's see. Worldwide, 211 million. I'll make a prediction right now. I don't think this remake comes anywhere close. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. Um, but I don't think it reaches this. At least not in the opening week. They're talking about 180 million in the first 4 days. I'd say no. It's not going to do that. That's my prediction anyway. Because I think that people are sick and tired of this. I think they're sick and tired of the race swapping because it's just so completely and totally meaningless. It is so completely and totally soulless in that there's nothing to it. Let me ask you, if you are somebody that genuinely thinks this is a good idea, let me ask you, do you think that this is going to be the look for Ariel going forward? Do you think that on all the merch, on all the material, that they're going to have Ariel be black? Are you out of your fucking mind? you know perfectly well that they're exploiting a black woman in this for social points on a movie that they don't really care about. They know that this isn't going to be a huge moneymaker. This is for their ESG score. This is for their woke credential score. This is not going to be a money making movie, and they know it. And you have people that are defending this. Why on earth would you not take this attractive, talented young woman who admittedly says pretty stupid, astonishingly dumb, out of nowhere bullshit things? Well, I mean, she's in Hollywood. What do you expect? But why don't you take her and give her the ability to shine in a role that she can make her own? She can't make Ariel her own because Ariel isn't black. How do I know that Ariel isn't black? Because I have eyes that work. And I've been aware of the character most of my life. If you think that people are going to accept Ariel being black, you're huffing paint. This is not acceptable or okay because it is a deviation from something that was classic. Do you understand? She could be Asian, Hispanic, whatever. Whatever change you made would not be acceptable. But it's even more unacceptable that you're trying to defend it because you think that Disney owes black people some form of, digital reparations. Here's the reality. This is the most insulting thing that you can do for black people. Telling them that you're not good enough to have characters of your fucking own. You're not good enough to have your own stories. You're not good enough to have your own characters. So we're going to give you hand-me-downs, one-offs. And you've got these clapping seals, brain-dead fucking losers. These basement-dwelling, perpetually online disgraces to the human race. Sitting there going, yeah, this is great. And you are against it, you're a bigot. There's nothing more bigoted than looking at this and going, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, good. We need this because blacks need a handout, right? And that's what you believe, right? Black people need a handout. They need your help. Because, I mean, they're so victimized. They're so oppressed. They're like a puppy, right? That's what you believe. When I see this, I am offended by it. Not because I have some deep and abiding hatred of black people. Or that I think that black people shouldn't be in entertainment. Or that black people can't play amazing characters. Because I grew up in the 90s. I know perfectly well that that is not true. Across the board, across all spectrums, I got to enjoy black actors and actresses and forms of entertainment that was tailored and curated to black people that was absolutely amazing. The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. You've got Family Matters, Sister, Moesha. Come on. UPN. There is something wrong with this. And it's that the people on the left are deeply and profoundly racist. They look at black people and they think less than. They don't say it, but that's instinctually what they think. They think less than. The software on the brain of a leftist, these Ethan Klein types, they immediately think that white people are superior. They do, instinctually. They don't even have to say it. It's already pre-programmed into every thought that they have. What? White people, you don't even have to say white people are superior because people like Ethan Klein and people like Hassan, their worldview has that baked into the cake. And so that's why it's so obnoxious to people like me, because I look at that and go, that's not my worldview. That's not the worldview of anyone that I know. That's your demented worldview. That you think black people are naturally inferior. You believe that. If you're on the left and you support this and you agree with this, you believe that black people need your help, that they need your sympathy. You need to believe that they need you. But the reality is, they don't. and they never have. And your condescending attitude is so offensive to most normal people because for me, I've never looked at the world as, oh, you're an African American or anything like that. If you are from this country, you're born and bred here, and you have a you have an attitude, you have a perspective that is of a law-abiding citizen that loves this country. People in the military, people in law enforcement, people in firefighters around this country are filled with, you've got black police chiefs, you've got people who serve this country who are black, and the attitude of people on the left is to erase them and to try to make them feel marginalized and like victims because the left, there's a reason why they're the party of the KKK. There's a reason why they're the party of Jim Crow. There's a reason why they are the party that opposed the civil rights movement. But here's the thing about Democrats. They never admit that they're wrong. They just go in the other direction to the extreme. That's how they handle situations like this. So when it was masks, in the beginning, Republicans were like, yeah, maybe wearing a mask would be a good thing. This thing seems kind of serious. And the Democrats were like, no, we're not going to wear masks. Nancy Pelosi in Chinatown didn't have a mask. Oh, we don't need masks. And then things started to get serious. And the numbers started to come in. And they realized it's an untenable position. So then they went the direct opposite direction. They're like, no, now we must mandate masks. You have to wear a mask. We're going to force you to wear a mask. And that's where Republicans are like, okay, well, no, F you. You're not telling me to do anything. That is the progression of the left. They're wrong on most everything. And then they go to the extreme deep end when it comes out that, maybe there's an issue that's favorable, that they can get favorable coverage on. They go to the extremes. And so it's an unfortunate reality, but that's who these people are. That's what they believe. Don't doubt me on this. Whenever you're listening to somebody like Ethan Klein talk about race, or any of these people on the left, and I mean any of them, you will see a lot of them just be terrified of the subject. And they're terrified of the subject because in their mind, there's something to be terrified of, which is to reveal to people their baseline presupposition that white people are superior. And they believe that in the basics of everything they believe. Don't doubt me on this. And I know that a lot of people will be absolutely incensed by it. And they'll protest it with just an unbelievable amount of fervor because it sounds terrible, because it is terrible. But that is exactly what they believe. It is ingrained into everything that they do. If you listen to black men talk about, the white men, they did this and they enslaved this and this and this and this and this. You listen to the way they talk. You listen to the way that they complain about things and the way they talk about these issues. Even they have in the back of their mind this idea, this presupposition that white people are superior. Of course, white people are making all the money. Of course, white people are taking all the opportunities. They're keeping us down. The presupposition is that white people are superior, and this is the indoctrination of the left over years of telling black people that they're victims. Why do they tell black people that they're victims? So that they accept cheap garbage like this that is worthless, and so that they can continue their belief that they are superior. It is not true. There is no one race that is superior. There are people that are superior, but I don't think that there's anyone in good faith that could say, the best actors of all time. I like Robin Williams and I like Denzel Washington. I'm not here to tell you that Robin Williams is a better actor because he's white, or that Denzel Washington is a worse actor because he's black. That's insanity. But that is the worldview. That is the presupposition that these people live on. Do not doubt me on this. And so I'm just here to be the voice of reason. I'm here to bring back sanity and tell you that there are better ways to handle this particular topic. Number one is don't be afraid. I'm not afraid of this topic. I have no fear of this topic whatsoever. Because at my heart and soul, I don't have this underlying racism determining everything that I say and do. I treat black people as equals, and if I see them making a fool out of themselves and embarrassing their community and this country, I will say it openly. If I see that there are a bunch of pasty white losers who are being condescendingly racist towards black people, which is just grotesque, I will call that out too. And that's what I think this is, from both sides. I think on the left, you have this, the corporation side to get the ESG score, and people in the company that are racist and woke. And then you have people who are black who look at this and go, well, finally, we get a character. Not realizing that this entire thing was done not to uplift black people or to give representation. This isn't representation of anything other than a culture in Hollywood that views black people as basically pets needing a handout. Because you cannot justify this. There is no justification for it. You know that Ariel's not black. You know she's not. I know she's not. Why would you not just create something new? Why would you not continuously, and I'm not just talking about this, across the board in every franchise, in every medium, why would you not just create a show that is the best that it can possibly be, that happens to star one of the best actors or actresses who are black? Unless you mean to tell me that you don't think that any shows starring black people can be successful. Because we know that that's not true. Tell me something. Was the world more racist or less racist in the 90s? If you say it's more racist, explain to me why The Cosby Show and Family Matters and all of these other black-centric shows, tell me why they were so good and why everyone loved them and watched them and enjoyed them. Tell me, why is it that The Cosby Show and Roseanne, back in those days, existed in the same time frame, were loved and enjoyed by people? Why is that they were sort of on the same par in terms of quality? Now, I'm not saying that I loved either show, but people did love them and they did enjoy them. How is it that you could have that back then, but today you have this? You mean to tell me that you can't create a black mermaid that isn't Ariel, that has her own compelling adventure and story? You mean to tell me that the only thing that you have for black people is giving them the leftovers? Do you know what this is? This is essentially a corporation like McDonald's getting an order from a black person and walking to their garbage and fishing out the remains of what somebody else ate, putting it on a tray, and then handing it to them. That's what it is. And you have people on the left saying, oh, brave, brilliant, oh. And I'm sitting here going, wait a minute. You're going to actually try to feed them this garbage that was already consumed? Like, all the best bits are already gone? There's no mystery in this. You've already seen the story. You already know how it ends. You already know the whole beats. They're not going to do anything new. Like, I could understand this in a way. I wouldn't recommend this, and I think it would be terrible. But if you did an entirely African-centric Little Mermaid, the whole thing. So, the underwater aesthetic, Prince Eric, is Prince Matumbo, and it's an entirely African theme. I'm talking like there are a tribe of Africans and they're hunting in the ocean and their ship gets turned over. I'm talking like the Kwikwe tribe. You know the I'm talking like old school Africa, right? Having it's a terrible term. Having a group of like spear chucking warriors, like badasses, like that could be an interesting take on it. Like you've got Ariel, who's black, and her father's black, and all the underworld is black. Now under the water, a Jamaican crab would make sense. You have an entirely black cast. You have it be African centric, and she meets a warrior from another tribe who happens to get tossed in a storm, and she saves him. I mean, at least it'd be different. Changing most of the beats of keeping most of the beats of the story the same, but changing it enough that people would at least be interested. I already know what's going to be in the story. I already know the songs that are going to be sung. I already know all of it because I've seen it. And you have people calling this progressive? No, it's a story that's already been told. And you think that's good enough for black people? That's what you consider to be benevolent on your part? Oh, we the blacks need help. This is what they need? A character that she could never make her own, no matter how good she was? There's nothing that she could do where people would forget decades and decades and decades and millions of dollars of marketing that Ariel is a red-headed white woman with blue eyes. And not only that, but they're not going to stop marketing Ariel. Ariel is going to be marketed in Disney going forward, not Holly Bailey. This is going to be a one-off thing, and I'm sure that some people will clap like seals for this. But this is deeply and horrifically offensive from a company that doesn't care, that has given up. This score is bullshit. We all know that to be true. And ladies and gentlemen, what I can promise you is this. You can agree with what I say. You can disagree with what I say. I honestly don't care. I share my opinion and what I feel. And what I feel is that this is deeply offensive. Because you have all the money, all the creativity, all the power in the world. You're Disney. You can do whatever you want. And this is it? This? You've got nothing? You've got no creative juices left? Hey, sorry, black people. All we got is hand-me-downs. You don't have any authentic stories? I mean, they are so racist in Hollywood that they can't even find a story that uplifts black people or tells of black mythology. They can't do any of that. They got to do the Woman King? The Woman King, which was a disaster. Because some people liked it, but it was a complete bastardization of history. The tribe that they tried to glorify because they were women warriors were an evil satanic group of slave sacrificing barbarians. They were savages. When I say evil, I mean these were demonic people. They were sacrificing slaves by the hundreds. These were not like noble warriors and they were women. No. And that's the true crime of this, is by not being honest and not addressing this head on. This sort of shit is allowed to exist instead of what could exist. And that's deeply offensive because you didn't need, back in the day, Roseanne to go off the air for them to make Roseanne but with a black family. No, you could have the Cosby Show competing head to head. Why couldn't they create Under the Sea, a Little Mermaid story about a black mermaid who's all her own in a different part of the world? in a different part of the world. Hell, you could have done a crossover, a cameo even. You could have had Ariel show up there if you wanted, played by a blue-eyed, redhead white woman. But she collabs with this new mermaid. Instead, what you did was something that I view as deeply troubling. You and all for a drop of clout, a pat on the back from people that are too stupid to see what this is and represents, and too stupid to call you out on the fact that you are doing this, but you have no intention of making this the look of Ariel going forward. Do you think if they make like a Kingdom Hearts game, for example, do you think that Ariel is going to look like Ariel, or do you think it's going to look like Holly Bailey? I can guarantee you it's going to look like Holly Bailey. Oh, sorry, misspeak there. I can guarantee you it's not going to look like Holly Bailey. Why? Well, because when you're making a game like that, you want all the characters that people know and can recognize. And no one would recognize this as Ariel. This looks like some kind of mer creature. The hair isn't even that red. But if you created her own character and gave her own name, it wouldn't matter what color her hair was. You could have her hair look any sort of way. So, anyway, that's what I have to say about this. This score is bullshit, but we know that to be true. Anyway, on that note, I will bid you guys a good day, and I'll see you next time.